Now let's look at Daniel chapter 11, verse 32. By smooth words he will turn to godlessness those who act wickedly toward the covenant. But the people who know their God will display strength and take action. Now the text that I just read has a great deal to do with eschatology, and there's a great deal of debate around what's going on here. And I'll leave that to the scholars. I want to touch on only one thing. Here we see a person of extraordinary evil that comes against the people of God in an extraordinary time of evil. So regardless of how we take this text, we can see its application to us today. By smooth words he will turn to godlessness those who act wickedly toward the covenant, but the people who know their God will display strength and take action. This is always the case. The prophet lamented. He said, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge." The last few years I have seen things in this country, I have seen things globally that I thought my eyes would never see. There is an extraordinary evil. There is an extraordinary darkness. If you could imagine a type of tsunami 1,000 miles high and 1,000 miles wide of just pitch black darkness that seems to be moving ever closer at an ever increasing speed. A grotesque immorality, an opposition to the gospel, a hatred for our Lord. And so we can identify with this text, but here's what I want you to see. God does not call for us in these times to circle the wagons and hide with fear and await some great event. He calls us to go forward. It doesn't say here that those who know their God will survive. It says those who know their God will display strength and take action. Now I want you to know that here in the church, in the seminary, TMAI, there are extraordinary men and women who are working. Men and women who know their God. As a matter of fact, many times if I have a question or a problem, I am prone to call some of them. But I'm not talking to them tonight. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you as a church. I'm talking to you as a layperson. I'm talking to you who's just been recently converted. And what I want you, if I could, I would take your face in my hands and I would pull you close and I would say, listen to me. These are troubled times. These are terrible times. But borrowing from Dickens, I can say, these are the worst of times. These are the best of times. In the midst of a first century darkness, you and I have the opportunity to live like first century Christians, but only if we know our God. Only if we lay aside all those silly little distractions and even lay aside a multitude of activity that amounts to nothing and concentrate on the priorities. And those priorities are this: to know your